pieces of wood. They are what I determined to be rather tight grained, especially in this case and in this case. Kind of in this case, not so much in this case, but trying to, again, discover how things work, how they don't work. Being new to this field, I hear a lot of people going, well, you know, this is what this looks like when this happens. I don't know. So here I am to find out. What I'm going to do, as much as I dread it, all of these 4 pieces have had 4 coats of Tru-Oil. Then they were steel wooled to smooth them out. And then they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 additional coats of Tru-Oil. So what we're going to do on these is use steel wool on them. And then we're just going to machine polish them real quick. So hopefully nothing too terribly drastic will come out of this. Now I know that some people are using Tru-Oil to get like a satin finish, and most often my understanding of what they do is that they will do this. They will just do some steel wool to it to smooth it out and put a coat of wax on it, or a coat of some type of protective polish on it, and then call it a day. So I'm trying to be gingerly about this, since on the maple, the spalted maple piece was burned through on that. So we'll see. It's a little difficult to work on these smaller pieces, I'm finding, at least, because by the time you kind of get the feel of what you're doing across here, you're done. Kind of a semi-matte look to it. This is the piece that was on the end, and these are all clamp. It's all clamp damage. So you know, you'll learn about that one. Can you clamp something too hard? Oh yeah. I did have a piece of wood on the other side of this, but it was just a thin piece of wood. Obviously, it was not enough to pad this from the damage. I'm mostly interested to see what happens kind of in the middle here. There's 2. This one has got a little more. I guess I should have showed you that one. Now we're at kind of a semi-gloss. This one's got a little more prominent grain to it. Tremendously entertaining stuff. And then this one is just a total, lots of adjectives I could give to this one. This is the curved piece. This is what happens when you iron wood. When you wet the snot out of it and then iron it and then glue it to something, don't do this. Anyway, here's what we're looking like beforehand. And this is a piece of super heavy duty burl, and this has got all kinds of cracks and gaps and grain and just all kinds of crazy stuff. So if this, I mean, who knows what this is going to turn out like. In this one, you're supposed to work with the grain, but there is no definitive grain pattern in this. So the good thing is, after a while, you get used to the learning curve being straight up. Alright, so there we are. And I guess now we'll go polish them. Oh, I hate this stuff. It's just crap all over my bench. Fudge monkeys. Alright, back with my smoothish test pieces that I then cleaned with steel wool. Sorry. 4 coats of Tru-Oil, and then polished them with steel wool to get them smooth, and then 12 coats of Tru-Oil, and then gave them another kind of a smoothing with the steel wool, and then polished them. And they're okay. This one, surprisingly, is the one that turned out the nicest, I think, which is kind of the important one, because this is this one's the Lazarus top. Alright, so here's this, which is a total crapshoot, and more just an experiment, since it is apparently wanting to be a seesaw. This one is okay. I can see all the steel wool marks in it, which I'm not too terribly fond of. That one's okay. This is the one I'm kind of happy with. There are a couple of scratches in it. Part of that is, even though I know I shouldn't, as soon as I'm done buffing with that, I go to wipe it off. And I shouldn't. I should wait, because the finish is still a little bit warm. I need to let it cool and harden. But that ain't bad. Ain't bad at all. From that to that. Guess I'll go there. I don't know if that's even going to show anything or not. Yeah, it's probably a little too small. Alright, so those are the 4 smooth pieces. Now, I'm not sure if there's anything that I can do to remedy this to make this better. While I'm not a fan on wood of the super high mirror gloss. I'm also not a fan of scratches. So we'll have to figure that one out. All right. Next batch. All right. Now we're here with the ones that we know are going to be screwed up, because these are, I picked because they have a very prominent grain structure, and I wanted to see what it's like to put a finish on unfilled big pore wood, to see what it looks like, and to see it, maybe a couple of different ways we can mitigate it, or maybe not. So let's look at what we got here. Here's one. And you can see the arrow points to a side. These were all initially the same type of thing. 180, 220, 320, 400 sandpaper. These got 4 coats of Tru-Oil, and then the arrow is pointing to the side that got wet sanded. And then there were another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 coats of Tru-Oil that were put on this. So what I am expecting to find is really, really prominent grain. And I will say I'm not disappointed in that aspect. Because it's one thing to say, oh, you have to fill the grain, because if you don't fill the grain, you'll really be able to see it. And if someone knows what you're talking about, then they go, yeah, I know what you mean. Whereas if the person doesn't know what you're talking about, then they're just kind of like, okay. So, and what I'm trying to do is catch the reflection of the light, which should really show the grain. These two are just freaking whoppers. And this is really pretty. And this is rosewood used, and this is a solid piece of rosewood. This is used quite a bit in guitar making, and this is zebrawood. Now this, to be fair, this right here, this is insect damage, which is the reason they use this to protect some delicate pieces when it was shipped to me, and not as actual wood, because if you were going to try to make something out of this, you would probably be totes angry with it. So that is, that's what open-pored or open-grained, I guess, wood that doesn't have the grain filled, that's kind of what it looks like. And would I want that on the side of a guitar? I don't think so. So that's why the other experiment is going on, using Tru-Oil and rosewood dust to see if can we use Tru-Oil and rosewood dust to fill the grain, and then to also make a really nice finish. Now, what, if anything, can we do with these? Because I tell you what, some of this wood is like really cool, especially when you start turning it and the grain just moves I mean, it does. It just really kind of dances. It's really just super cool. I don't know. You have to think on that. I could polish, I could sand. That's what I could do. So I could flat sand one side to see what we could do about that. We could flat sand one side and see if we could get the grain to fill up on it. We could try that. That might be worth doing. We could use them as frisbees. We could cut them out as little ninja stars and throw them at each other. Alright, so we'll see. I'll have to think on that. If you have an idea, let me know.